Hi, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I'm Jerry.
And I'm Thomas.
Welcome to Reasons to See,
where we give you reasons to see.
And not to see.
The Purge. So let's purge. Reason to See number 1. The concept. Yeah, this film has a brilliant fucking concept. I love it so much. It's cool because even though I didn't really care too much for this film, I could totally see them making a franchise out of it, like even focusing on another group of people. It doesn't even have to be a family. You could just explore a different group of people per movie.
Talking to a lot of people about horror flicks especially and stuff like that, people always ask, what is scary now? A couple days ago I just sat down to think about this movie and I was like, just as a concept, just the idea that for 12 hours all crime is legal and no one can help you. That's like utterly horrifying to me.
Yeah, I think it's really original. Like it's not too crazy, but you kind of are thinking, oh, this might happen, in the near future. It's kind of not like outside the...
It's not totally implausible.
Yeah, it's like all this stuff exists. Like all we would have to do is just have somebody with power put this policy into play.
Yeah.
And then it could really happen in that sense. So it is kind of close to home that way. And there are a million ways you can do this movie.
Yeah. That's one thing I was thinking about. It's like this is a hard film to sort of judge because I think a lot of people are going to judge this movie based off their expectations of how someone would execute this concept. Because there's so many different ways you could go about doing it. Maybe someone's gonna watch this movie going, yeah, that's how I would have done it. And somebody else might hear this concept and go, I would have done it totally different. And so they might not like the movie just based off of that alone.
The concept is much more horrifying than the actual movie is.
Yeah, it could definitely have been kind of like a Saw flick or something where it's more about the gore and everything happening. Instead, it's more like a psychological thriller, I guess, kind of thing. If this happened to my family, or would I be participating in it, or would I be hanging back,
Yeah, it's a sticky idea.
Yeah.
It's really gray. And the concept allows for everything awful.
Yeah, you could have 2 wives in America for 12 hours. It's such a great what if concept because it just does get your mind thinking. I know people who haven't seen the trailer for this and you just tell them the idea and you're like, what would I do if crime was legal for 12 hours? How far are you willing to go? Where does the line cross between law and morality? Yeah, because one thing I really liked about this movie, especially in the first 20 minutes of it, was they create a world here where, and I love watching that because it's kind of, some people just see this as like a horror movie or a thriller, but to me it's kind of science fiction. Like everyone is talking so casually about this Purge, and it kind of makes sense how there's so many people out there who are used to this kind of violence.
Reason to See number 2. Ethan Hawke and Lena Headey.
Yeah, every character in this is kind of a little two-dimensional. In some ways, but these 2 actors really do elevate these performances. They bring a strong level of humanity to it. You believe them as husband and wife. I kind of like watching that partnership work together. Even at times in the movie that I didn't like.
I have a lot of problems with the script of this movie, but even when the script wasn't good, I still liked their performances, and I thought they brought they put their all into what's going on. You really believe these crises they're going through and how it's affecting them.
Yeah, I think they really played their characters right with Ethan Hawke being like the head of the household, kind of like perfect dad or trying to be a perfect dad, and then the mom is kind of like a follower, like doesn't really have kind of her say in the whole household, but she just listens to what Ethan Hawke has to say.
Yeah, she's just kind of the silent glue that keeps the family together,
I didn't really notice her stand out too much, but I like her, I wouldn't call it an arc, but more of a descent into madness. And she has a great moment at the end. A moment where people were laughing, but it's the kind of thing where you're laughing because you're kind of rooting for her at the same time. That moment where she takes that one woman and just smashes her face
into a table.
Because as the audience, you want her at that. There's some moments that pose really good debates, and that moment where she has to decide whether or not these people get wiped out or they survive. There are certain audience members who are like, kill them, just kill them. And I kind of want her, as an audience, I want them to kill them. But from the character standpoint, I understood it. But you still get that great moment where she just bashes that bitch's face in. And she just, that's the one violent moment where I really felt it. Her descent sort of into madness is really the big question that I think arises in this movie because it starts off with them I'm all for the Purge, but once they get involved in the Purge themselves, now they're like, I don't know about this Purge anymore. It causes a lot of shit for me.
It's like, it's an important day, people need to let it out, but we're not going to do that, so it's, we're just holed up in our little fortress, so it's okay. And then what happens when that fortress...
And when Ethan Hawke, sort of becomes Rambo at some point, it's pretty cool, actually, because I like that moment where he shoots that guy in the back of the head like 6 times to save the kid. I remember when he first gets the shotgun, everyone in the theater was like, what the fuck? Where'd he get equipped with that badass machine,
Reason to see number 3, the villain.
He's called like the polite stranger.
Yeah, I saw that on
IMDb.
IMDb.
Yeah.
I thought he was more creepy than anything. I think it was more how intelligent he was, because he used big words and like some that I didn't really understand. Yeah. So whenever someone uses big words that I don't understand, I'm getting a little creeped out by them.
They're like, hey, they're smart.
Yeah.
They're smart because I don't know what they're saying. I thought the guy did a really good job. I mean, for villain roles like that, I think they're hard to execute because normally they're just some guy who's like, I'm devilish, so I smile and I look like this. But this dude actually, you could feel a level of greedy depth behind this guy and bloodlust and all these underlying layers, and you could see how he's sort of like the leader, kind of like the leader of the posse at college or wherever the fuck he goes.
He came on screen and I thought he was captivating the whole time because it's like you can tell that character fully believes in what this is on a level deeper than just like, oh, I can do whatever I want. It's like he truly believes in the power of this night. At one moment he's grinning and then it almost seems like he's gonna cry at another moment, and it's like he's not playing crazy. I just believe that he's just like, he's off.
He was the only one not wearing his mask throughout the whole time. I mean, he came in with a mask, but he kind of just threw it off, and I think that kind of made him even more creepier, is that he didn't really care who knew who he was. His smile was probably one of the more creepier aspects about him.
Even though I know, yes, they are scary, technically, yes, but I personally wasn't afraid. I would have liked to see more, like, explore his philosophies a little bit more, kind of like a cult leader type of deal.
Well, you kind of get,
you get bits of that. I feel like you
when he shoots one of his friends in the head in just a second, when the guy kind of cuts him off. Yeah, that's kind of like, okay, this guy obviously means business. Like, maybe we shouldn't fuck around with him.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically you could have gotten to know him. I don't blame them so much because it's like, if you were in that situation, that's probably as much about him as you would get to know anyway.
Reason not to see number 1, the wooden dialogue. Yeah. Especially like the first 10 minutes, it's like, Purge tonight. Yep, Purge tonight. Purge tonight.
Safe night.
It's gonna be safe.
Safe night.
Because we have your security system.
Hey, I baked you cookies. Nice house, by the way, that you expanded because you got so much money installing all these security systems. Are you purging? Oh no, we are not purging. But we are, like, because we know things will go wrong. Like, the whole reason we're here is because there's a very dark concept and we know something's gonna go wrong, and I just feel like the whole first half of the movie is just sort of very thinly trying to set up, oh, things are great, but they're not gonna be for long. And I just feel like they could have used a punch-up writer to make things sound like actual conversations.
I wouldn't say the first half. I thought it was just more like the first act.
It started to loosen up. I can tell you the exact moment. When they're sitting at the dinner table and the daughter makes the penis remark, and then the conversation, they're all talking over each other, they finally started to feel like actual people.
Yeah. But, there was something about it in the wooden dialogue that, even though I thought it was a little too expositional and a little too, like, even if I hadn't seen the trailer, I would have been like, they're obviously setting up for danger.
Well, I think it was more like, they're trying to do a stereotypical family that's, in a rich gated community, like, oh, everybody's perfect, everyone says hi to each other, everyone knows their neighbor, that's kind of what they're going after.
That's what I mean, is like, it's sort of like the artificiality too. It's sort of like Stepford Wives kind of deal going on.
But I think you can convey that with interesting dialogue that's like, it's not that, I'm down with that idea, that whole artificiality, and we're all kind of plastic and hiding something, and then we're all trying to, act like we're not barbarians and whatnot, but there's just something about it. It's just all the lines felt like there was like, here's information, alright, here's more information, alright, like, reason not to see number 2, not so scary.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people who see this trailer or hear the concept are expecting this movie to be like terrifying, you know? Like a lot of people, that's their anticipation. So that's why I think we should acknowledge that, hey, this film really isn't scary.
Yeah, well, it's not like you're dealing with demons or, you know, monsters or
It's
something.
not even really a horror movie.
Yeah,
you know?
it's...
Yeah, I mean, it comes from Platinum Dunes and Blumhouse.
Yeah, it kind of has its creepy factors into it, you know, people like skipping along in like a long like dress and their masks.
It's got sort of the Strangers.
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
exactly. The Strangers. I mean, you're dealing with, you know, kind of psychopathic people that it's kind of the norm, which isn't so scary, I think, just because we know like this kind of stuff goes on in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a creepiness underlying to it, but nothing really there that's gonna, you know, make you shit your pants or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as scares go, it's mostly like jump scares.
Yeah, it's like
people
cheap scares.
acting strange.
But
I
even
mean,
jump scares are kind of predictable in this movie.
Yeah, when the music stops.
predictable. There were a couple good ones I thought, but even so, it's like I wouldn't even call this a horror movie so much as like a vaguely science fiction drama thriller.
Yeah, like science fiction thriller.
It's got a dystopian thing going on about it. Yeah.
Split decision number 1: The Kid.
Okay, so I thought the kid was an annoying fuck.
I like the kid a lot.
I hated the kid. I
There's
thought
one
the
thing
kid-
Blumhouse knows how to do, it's get good kid actors.
yeah,
The actor's good. The kid is
That's the writing again, though. I liked his performance.
Yeah, I don't like the character at all.
yeah, but his like I don't know, his decisions throughout the movie were kind of like
you're smart. I can tell you're smart. You created a baby toy that can do fucking go around the house and shit.
and you get kind of like a
It's
little
like a mobile surveillance.
yeah, exactly, and you get a little kind of like OCD factor from him because you know he's taking his vitals like every couple minutes and everything. So he's kind of, you know, you can kind of tell there's something up with this kid, but
he lets the guy in the house.
Yeah.
And then he lets the guy hide, which makes the girl go hostage. And
But he's doing his best. Like I understood the kid. Like it would make no sense for Ethan Hawke to let the guy in the house, but the kid is like struggling with this whole idea. Like it's too big for his mind to process, and he sees a guy out there just wanting to hide, or at least as it seems, just wanting to hide. So he's like, this is a big distressing idea to him already. It's clearly a bit much for him to handle, so he let the guy in. I totally understood.
I think the kid was just
Kids do shit like that.
I think he was just put there just to be like, how is this guy going to get in here? Okay, let's have this dumb kid make a stupid decision that's going to affect his entire family. And I didn't really think that he would have done that. Like he wasn't really rebellious enough where I think he would have gone against.
But it wasn't an act of rebellion, it was an act of compassion toward another human being. Like, the kid is not the animal yet. You know, to the kid, it's like, this guy is clearly being chased by somebody. He seems to just want help. Like, he's probably not in the position to go, like, but he might kill us, we should just leave him out there to die. Like, it's a morality
Here's
play.
why I hate the kid. It's all his fault why all this happened.
If the kid was there,
that's why I hate
a really, really short movie, they would have gotten through the Purge. Next day, everything goes.
Everything would have been okay.
It is
way
his
better.
fault.
And if you let the black guy just get turned over, everything would have been. And another stupid moment when he's playing with the flashlight, and then he sees the door open, and he's still like, flashlight on, flashlight on, and then, oh, someone might be in here, let me just point the flashlight down. Like, turn off the fucking flashlight or else you're gonna get caught.
As you said,
stupid decision.
Stupid kid.
Yeah,
all right,
he's a
you know.
stupid
And
kid.
I didn't really think that
He's a
kinda
compassionate kid. It does make him smart, though.
I don't think he's a moron. I mean, it's like,
He's kind of.
Well, I didn't really
moron.
think he was. His compassion to let the guy in really wasn't believable for me, because he was kind of like asking his parents, like, oh, why don't you guys kill? Like, kind of nonchalantly, you know, and he was like looking at the monitors, like looking at, you know, the dead body when they were showing the video feeds of stuff, and he was kind of like, he wasn't like really turned off by it, he was kind of just like contemplating, you know?
yeah, but it seemed to me like it was still distressing to him, because once his parents get in that whole talk about, it's clear that like Ethan Hawke was like, yeah, if we felt the need to purge, we would, and then the wife's like, what are you talking about? And that clearly seemed to distress him a little bit, so you can tell that he's at least grappling with the moral implications of this whole entire night. Like, it made sense to me why he would make a clutch decision like that. Be like,
His compassionate side makes sense to me, but his decisions made me not like him.
When the whole, you know, gang comes up to the doorstep, the doorstep, and everything's kind of starting to develop. He's watching the video feeds, keeps on watching them, and he kind of just like looks down for a second when he realizes like, oh shit, I fucked up, I'm an idiot, I'm a stupid kid, but I'm gonna keep on making stupid decisions.
Yeah, and I know your moment you're talking about, where it's just constantly showing all the camera footage.
Yeah.
And that moment, I thought that's when he was gonna like be like, okay, let me find this black guy.
Yeah, I thought he was like, all right,
yeah,
let's just kill him.
But because it's like either his whole family's gonna get slaughtered, or help save this one guy, and he's consistently putting this one guy, this stranger, before his family. Split decision number 2. The daughter. Yeah, the daughter to me was just a typical whiny teenager. She was another stupid one to me. You know,
I agree with you on the writing side of things. I thought her performance was fine.
I didn't really get too much from her performance.
She shows up, whines, or cries.
Yeah, she shows up for a second, like, holy crap, where's everybody? Leaves. Shows up again on the video feed of the kids thing, like, oh, I'm gonna go hide in your secret spot. Gets captured, and then she gets thrown against the wall and knocked out. That's pretty much her whole...
Yeah, I mean, the script doesn't give her a lot to do, and a lot of my big problems with this movie are with the script itself, but I thought that actress, I thought she did a fine job. I enjoyed her performance. Like,
she did play like a believable, kind of like 18-year-old rebelling against your dad because he makes you, piano recitals and all this set stuff, and you're, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I have my loose tie because I'm a rebel, like I'm a badass chick, and then she kind of just turns into like a little scared girl, like as normal.
I'm talking about the character itself. Not so much the performance. The performance is fine. Just the character could have been so much better.
She could have had a bigger role in the film,
They could have just
been a much better written character.
It could have done something. Oh, and she brings the killer boyfriend inside too.
No, she doesn't. That's he sneaks in.
She still brought him into the family. That it's still like,
but
it's still.
That is not her fault though.
Yeah, but she's
like, the fuck are you doing here, dude? We're locked in here. Like,
she wasn't that freaked out when she saw
I know,
him,
but still, it was
like she was the one who's like,
not her fault.
Maybe it is.
Who brought him? Who is the one that introduced him to the family though? It was her.
Well,
who's the one that brought him in? It was
like
the one.
It's not her fault.
The one who
snuck in.
The idiot daughter.
To kill her dad.
The idiot daughter who is putting this boyfriend before her dad.
That whole altercation is boyfriend's fault though, because she said, "My dad's home, you gotta leave," and then he sneaks back in the house.
I know,
and doesn't tell her he's got a gun. That shit's on him.
Well,
that is all his fault right there.
Her putting the boyfriend in front of the dad is just another part of her rebellious teenager. I'm sure there's tons of girls like that, but then when shit goes down, she's like, "Oh crap. My boyfriend just tried to shoot my dad, and my dad shot my boyfriend. My dad's obviously in the right, and my boyfriend's a fucking nuthead."
But that's what I'm saying is how she's another stupid character in this movie, because if she just listened to her dad, none of that would have happened.
But that's not fair though, because you think about real life. Your parents are like, I forbid you to see that person that you're infatuated with or you're in love with. Whoever is like, you know what, Dad, you're right. Nobody does that. Yeah, it's always like, we gotta see each other in secret. Our parents don't know. Even if you find out later they do. They're in this relationship and they're like, yeah, he doesn't know how mature you are. I know I'm older. That's a real life thing that teenagers go through.
If she's really dating this guy, she should have seen some signs of like, okay, I'm gonna kill your dad. It wasn't like he wasn't really like, the purge is coming around now. My girlfriend's dad doesn't really like me. I think I'm just gonna kill him. And that was another scene that was kind of predictable. Oh, you come to see me during the purge? Oh, it's so sweet. Oh no, I'm here to talk to your dad. Oh, even nicer, It's like, no, he's come to fucking kill your dad.
If anything, that shit is all his fault. Because think about it. What was your plan? It's like, I'm gonna sneak into my girlfriend's impenetrable fortress house where we will be trapped for 12 hours. I'm going to kill her dad, and then expect that her mom, her little brother, and her are all gonna be okay with that. And then we're gonna spend the evening together.
You killed my dad.
That dude is a moron.
You killed my dad. Now you can date me. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Dating advice, perfect. Kill the girlfriend's dad. It works every time. He's a sensitive guy, She was starting to take her top off. He's like, oh no, can't do this, I gotta talk to your dad because, I gotta make sure we're okay.
I can't have sex with you until I kill your dad.
Split decision number 3. The first half.
I like the first half a lot more than the last half. I thought the first half was where most of its originality was at. You know, I haven't seen a home invasion movie take place like that before, where this guy comes in and then it's a hunt for that guy, and then it deals a lot with. When they capture the guy, it deals a lot with, you know, the morality there, and they pose questions. I like a movie that sets up a world. You know, it's weird. The first thing that comes to me is Jurassic Park for some reason, because in Jurassic Park they set up this world of what if we can bring dinosaurs back, and then the first hour is posing the question of is this okay or is this not okay? And this poses a similar question: is this okay or is this not okay? You get to explore that debate for like the first 20 minutes through like people on the television, some people talking about it, and then the story starts to go, and then there's more originality, but then the last half is when I thought it just took a whole other turn. But the first half is the part I respected the most.
Yeah, I mean, they do set up a world, which is really cool. It's the whole reason people want to see this is because it's unique. And then I think they really could have played on that more than, you know, having just something going on in the house. I think they set up this world. They should have elaborated on the world a lot more.
Yeah, they set up a concept where you could have a great debate about it. You could have there's great philosophies that could be brought up. There's so many things more. There's psychological elements, and you only get hints of that, and you get moments of that, but it doesn't feel like it's something that resonates throughout.
I feel like the movie as a whole could have gotten deeper with its, you know, exploration of, you know, the psychology and the morality of this whole situation. However, just as a movie-going experience, I preferred the second half to the first half, because the first half it was like just all the setup just felt so kind of thin and wooden.
But that was only the first act though, but there's still originality in the first act.
Yeah, it's original, but I thought the movie was better at doing what it was doing in the second part, because the first half was like, yeah, no, I get it, your concept's cool, and I get it, you're searching for this guy in the dark, that stuff's all neat, and I like it, but I didn't feel like the movie kicked into gear and got on a groove until the second half, because the first half was like, cool idea, not so good dialogue, kid made a stupid choice there with the gun, When the strangers come in, that's when I thought, like, okay, now you've caught the groove, and now everything that's working is finally solid.
I really like the opening scene. They kind of show a bunch of like the security footage kind of what's going on in the Purge. You see how brutal it is and what's really going on like outside of the world. And I kind of thought they were going to elaborate on that, like maybe the family's going to escape and go, you know, into a worse part, and you know, shit's going down there. I mean, the real reason I wanted to see the film was because it was original. And when it started getting more into the home invasion kind of, that people are coming into our home, we're going to defend this house, all that stuff.
Straw Dogs meets strange.
Yeah, it's like Panic Room. Split decision number 4, the last half.
Yeah, like the last half to me that's when it just became a typical home invasion movie. It stops exploring its concept. It stops posing questions and everything like that. Like, I guess the midpoint is when they get the black dude. And then they still pose a few questions of morality here and there.
Little ethical dilemmas.
Yeah, but the second the parents are like, we're gonna fight back, it's like, whoa, this is just like an action home invasion movie all of a sudden. I thought it was so stupid. Like, every single time someone was about to get killed, some guy surprises them with a gun and kills the bad guy. Some guy surprises them, saves the day, kills the bad. That's how every single one of them went down. Someone shows up, bam, saves the day. Even when the black guy becomes the hero, just shows up and saves the day. Like, no, I never felt like anyone was really in trouble here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the ending of it is when, you know, the neighbors are around, they're doing that whole little ritual prayer kind of thing. And I don't think one person in the theater is like, holy crap, these people are going to die. Like, these guys are going to show. Everyone's like, oh yeah, where's the black guy?
Yeah.
Oh, he just walked out? No, he's obviously going to come in and, you know, shoot some people up. I thought he was going to kill all of them.
And then the girl's getting, the wife is about to be killed, and then the strangers, it's like, the neighbors show up, so it's like, well, that was convenient for them, you know? Like, everything just seems so convenient for them to get out of it. Sure, there were some cool kills here and there, but it was just way too convenient, and there are movies that I don't mind a home invasion movie, I don't, but it's when it just seems like a replicate rather than not doing a more of a unique spin on it. It's frustrating when you have such an original concept, but then the movie decides to kind of like can a lot of that and just turn it into something that is predictable, full of cliches, and it's honestly loses a lot of its thrills when things are just becoming repetitive and stuff. It's just like, all right, we're just gonna start killing all the bad guys too. The only thing it's missing from, you know, being a home invasion movie is that little bit of when the family's hostage and then the bad guys are like, you know, torturing them or like talking to them or trying to get information. Something like that. That's the only thing it was missing.
And then after that, just got really predictable. You know, when the kid got grabbed and was about to get shot, you know that he wasn't going to shoot the kid. You knew someone was going to come and shoot the guy. You know, and you know when Ethan Hawke was fighting those the two invaders, you know, and you knew he wasn't going to get killed there. You know, it was going to be a sick battle, but. You know, he wasn't gonna die. They weren't gonna kill him then.
The thing for me is that I get actually what you guys are saying about the second half, and it's not... The movie in and of itself has an original concept. It's got an original view of the world that is very unsettling. However, as a plot, as just a story about people, it's not ultimately all that surprising. There are a few twists and turns, but I think the reason I like the second half a lot is because I think the second half is effective. It's not workmanlike is the wrong term, I guess, but it's like, I think they just assembled it well. It's like, people are all running around in the dark, and I thought it was kind of tense, and
I thought it was just a shoot 'em up movie at that point.
Yeah, I kind of...
It is. Yeah. Well, it is, because everyone is divided, and everyone's being hunted down by these masked people. Like, I'm just saying, for what it was, I actually, just for purely what they were giving to me, I was like, you're doing a good job with this stuff. Like, people were creeping around in the dark, and every time somebody gets shot or smashed with something, I legitimately was like, ooh, like every time.
Yeah,
because
no,
it's
one
like,
thing got to me. Nah.
Yeah, it was more like, because, you know, a lot of people going into this, you know, we're saying horror flick, or maybe sci-fi, maybe thriller and stuff. I mean, as soon as it turned into, like what you said, shoot 'em up, I kind of lost interest. I was kind of like, alright, I was kind of set on, you know, getting scared, you know, seeing some weird stuff, maybe like, you know, somebody getting their head chopped off or something, you know, something kind of weird. But then it just got into, okay, shotgun blast, you're dead. Shotgun blast, oh, hit you with the freaking pool ball, you're dead.
Yeah. Well, see, I think that, like, the movie has a lot of... It's not a grand exploration of these ideas, but the movie does have a lot of exploration of, you know, civility versus animal and primal and you know, that sort of thing. And so it made sense to me that the movie would go from a place of contemplation to a place of, we just gotta fight now. It's like, where the story pushed its characters, I bought that thing.
But
so.
Ethan Hawke just turns into, like, an action hero all of a sudden. Like,
well, yeah, as soon as he takes off his shirt and he's in, like, that white, you know, just a white undershirt, and he's running around with the shotgun, and that's when you're like, okay, he's freaking training to Ethan Hawke.
I don't think he's super tactical, or it's not like he busts out the martial arts. I mean, every fight, because you get the sense that these people he's fighting, again, it is over the top, but the people he's fighting aren't trained assassins either. These are all people fucking around.
But they have way more experience than Ethan Hawke does.
They have guns and axes, but you don't know that they have experience.
Yeah, but they're okay with it. Yeah, you can tell that they're like, okay, we've done this before. They're not like kind of creeping around.
But there's a difference between being willing to kill and having experience as an assassin. You know,
but
like,
no one's saying they're an assassin, but Ethan Hawke's certainly not an assassin.
But he's been pushed to the edge. This whole situation has pushed him over into discovering that part of himself that he has been repressing all this time. He's been forced into the purge. He's an animal in a corner. And so I bought it based on those merits. Like, yeah, probably with all these people around, he would have died. But it's like he's firing off 7 rounds into some guy's face. That's what you do when you're, you know, jittery and afraid in the dark and you're fighting for your family. You know, you're not going to be economical.
It makes sense, but I hated the execution of it. I
thought the execution was good.
It's like you got all this tension, all this buildup. Like, Act 1, world. Act 2, okay, plot, moving, tension, mystery, you know, what's gonna happen, buildup. And then the last half is just, bad guys are in. Let's just start guns blazing for the next 30 minutes.
Because what else do you do? Like,
well, you could be way more creative with it. Like, totally way more creative with it.
I know, but
they could be hiding around the house or something like that rather than...
Or like luring them out.
That's a much more secret agent than just fucking finding a person and killing them.
I don't believe that 2 people would split up, one with a handgun, when everyone is outside and they're all armed, and a woman a wife who's like, honey, no, honey, no, this is not gonna happen, and then go on your own with a little gun, and I'm gonna go around, and we're just gonna split up and just start killing all of them.
But there's
expect that
but there is an innate difference there, is because these are the people who have wrecked their way into their home to kill the man who is hiding out, and now because they didn't throw him out like a dog, they're gonna kill them too. And so when they're tying him to the chair and he's asking her to twist the knife into his gunshot wound, that is all savage. But when the people break into their house, that's all defense after that. It's like she has a serious problem with the cruelty she's watching her husband enact on this guy in a moment of desperation. When all the people break into the house, that's a totally different thing, because it's like, now they're here to kill my family and this guy. We have to defend ourselves with whatever we have.
I know, but I just don't buy that they would go into super attack mode with
You have to. Those people are going to kill you.
I know, but I imagine they'd probably rather hide more and then wait for someone to come around, rather than walking around the home alone.
But that's the thing, is
it's 10 people who are like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about anything, up against 2.
But that's the thing, is that they live in a place where everyone is locked down behind gigantic metal, like no one's gonna come fucking help them. How are they going to stick it out for like 7 extra hours hiding? The people are going to destroy their way through the house. It's like, they realize that at a certain point, they got nowhere else to go.
You're talking about its ideas, but you're not talking about the way how it was done, though.
I believe their choice, because it's like, what are we gonna do? Hide in your cubby space for 7 hours? They're gonna find us.
Yeah, but you could have gone out, maybe knocked on another neighbor's door, like, come on, help me.
So let me ask you,
but those neighbors won't help because they already know they don't like them.
You live in a big home, and you're gonna tell me that when there's like 10 to 15 people outside who are just ready to kill with no regrets, when this is brand new for you to kill. It's brand fucking new.
But I'm saying, the difference is they're desperate. They're fighting for their own lives, not I'm gonna go out and kill.
Doesn't matter though.
Yes, it does. It's totally different.
What human being would suddenly go, I'm gonna take on 15 people, let's divide us 2, who have never gone on a killing spree before? Just because
they're trying to protect their kids.
Just because it's defense does not mean that they're gonna suddenly be the courageous, super fucking I could see them being willing to defend and stuff.
I didn't think that they were being like...
There are people there are families who have guns held up against them. Doesn't mean that they're gonna be like, alright, I'm gonna save the day. How many people
It wasn't save the day, though. It
was totally save the day.
It was like, okay,
did you think it was save the day?
It was like, we're fighting for our kids. Like,
I thought I wouldn't really believe that family to do what they did, to have a whole shoot 'em up, kind of like, okay, we're gonna just take on all these people who have freaking shotguns and assault rifles who just burst their way through my house. I mean, they seemed like a family that would have been like, we're getting the fuck out of here. We're gonna find another place to hide because these people are coming after us.
But
we'll leave the black guy here.
Let them in.
Yeah, but they probably weren't. They
were the ones who let somebody in, and that's only because the kid did it. Like,
yeah, but in a situation like that, you're not thinking rationally. Like, no one else is gonna let us in. We need to fucking kill all these people. They're gonna be like, holy crap, let's get the hell out of here. Hopefully, someone will let us in. Let's run around the neighborhood.
Yeah,
I'm the one who sold them all the security systems. They should let me in.
No, because think about it. Why would you run out? Why would you run out into wide open space? At least in a house, you have hallways and corridors and rooms and shit.
Yeah, but you don't.
Why would you run out into a wide?
You don't have
why would
15
you?
people.
Yeah, but they have trucks and wide range weapons.
You're better off killing 2 people waiting outside than killing 10 people who are in your home.
But all those people are gonna know that they left the house immediately.
How?
Because they have to go out the front fucking door.
But who's staying at the front door?
There are people.
They probably had a backyard.
At the very end,
2 people
yeah,
outside.
and those people probably had high-powered weaponry there too. Like,
but
they know.
okay, so you're saying it's more believable to kill 10 people than 2 people.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you wouldn't run out into the wide open street where there's no real place to hide, and no one's gonna let you in.
You don't know
running
that.
away from the
Yes,
situation.
but think about it. They know that everyone in this house, I mean, not everyone in the house, they have an idea. The whole point of the scene where she's out front talking to Grace is to get across the idea that the neighbors don't like them, and the whole thing is that everyone's locked in and no one's gonna let you in. That's the whole thing. That's the whole reason this movie happens, is that the guy in what you're saying would be their better position, they're the only ones who would let that guy in.
Well, I think from that scene, that, her saying that, we pretty much paid for that second part of your house or something.
Yeah.
I think the way I got that is she was jealous, but she was just kind of saying that stuff. It's not
You're
really the whole neighborhood hates him because
you're acting like they have hatred for them.
But they don't. You get the sense that the neighbors don't like them. They're not invited to this whatever party, the purge party they're having. Everyone's got their security system, and at the point you're talking about, to run outside, go knock on doors, whatever, everyone knows that their security systems don't mean shit. So who's gonna help them? No one is gonna help these people.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what they could have done?
you know,
Shot the
fight
two
them.
people, hop in the fucking truck, and take off.
No, because you.
No,
Okay,
that'd be
you know
a
what?
longer
Alright,
movie.
that-
It would
that
be
would've-
85 minutes.
That would be that's plausible, yeah. But what I will say is this: gunshots fire outside. Someone is gonna be there. All those people are gonna be pretty much there pretty quick to come fucking kill
another
you.
stupid thing. They're in a house. Every time someone gets shot in the house, gunshots go off. You never hear people running towards that spot.
Yes, because
Can we
Ethan
talk about
Hawke
the
gets
house for a
attacked
second?
by like 8 people.
He gets attacked by 3 people, but there are several scenes of people getting killed. There's that one moment where there's 3 people that come in. That's it. That one moment.
And then after that, more people come. Like.
Okay,
no,
He
that's
keeps
the last fight.
He keeps encountering people, and
That's
they're
the
all
last-
looking for different
That's
shit.
the last fight.
You got people looking for him, you got people looking for the black guy, you got people looking for his wife and kids, you got people all over, like...
Okay, but let's talk about the house. It's like a fucking castle. You know how big the house was? Like, they go to a different room every fucking scene. It's kind of unbelievable how big this house was.
But
from seeing from the outside. I don't think, that's a whole nother point, is that I don't think they'd be able to fight them, and kind of realistically, if it was a mansion, like the biggest mansion you've been into, it still wouldn't have been, kind of like close quarter stuff. Someone would have heard shots,
Yeah.
everyone would run over there, and then they would have killed whoever just shot them.
And you theorized of if they heard gunshots outside, people would have went outside. How come when there's gunshots inside, no one's running after them inside then?
Yes, the people who broke in, when there are gunshots inside, they're trying to kill them. That's the
Go
whole point.
real fast. Recap.
I don't mean the neighbors are gonna come outside. I'm saying
Talk about
strangers.
Yeah, talk about. That's what I'm talking about. Who is the first person to get shot? The guy in the back of the head. 6 gunshots go off. You don't hear anyone rushing to that spot.
Yeah, there's still
Not one person.
prancing around. They're playing piggyback and everything, knocking all the fucking the pictures off the walls and stuff. They're not like, oh shit, there's gunshots. Let's get to the basement because everyone is right there.
I'm not
And then
saying
Ethan
that
Hawke shoots someone in the kitchen.
Yeah,
and
they're-
no
they're
one
all-
runs to that.
Yes, but yes, that is a logical boggle in a sense. The only thing I can say to rebut that is that technically, I guess, you wouldn't know exactly who is shooting or being shot at, so one of the family members could have died or one of our people could have died. It's a muddy situation. I don't know. I'm just saying that given the situation, given what's going on for these characters, and all the weirdness they've been forced to confront because the kid let this guy in, at a certain point, I believe it as a choice.
My biggest problem is that the last half hour is nothing but a shoot 'em up movie.
Well, it
Fine.
seems kind of.
I thought they executed that thing well. I thought that was thrilling. I thought all the hits hit. I thought
You don't
it
just
was
switch
tense.
the genre on us all of a sudden.
But it made sense. That was the next logical conclusion. They break into the house and they invade.
You saw Last House on the Left, right?
Yes.
Okay, when the bad guys are in there, it doesn't just become a let's kill them as fast as possible. There's still tension. There's still suspense going on. It's not just let's hurry up and kill them. And that's what this turns into. Is
No, I
let's hurry
thought
up
this
and kill
did
them.
had tension. I mean, it was fast paced.
Where?
It was fast paced, but I thought that the sneaking around in the dark and all that shit was it's not the pinnacle of intensity. It's not like high tension, but it's the movie. But like it is tense. I thought was tense.
I thought it was a little rushed. Like it wasn't. I kind of took away from the tension. Was like, all right, we gotta hurry up and kill all these people. All right, then we have to,
It's a
make
very-
Ethan Hawke die.
You're wrong, by the way. Just thought I should say that.
Yes, my opinion is wrong.
Yeah, the way you feel.
The way I viewed the movie.
The way
was wrong.
you think and feel is just wrong. It's just not
Thanks.
right. I don't.
No, yeah, it's happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't hang out with you.
Opinions are based on our
I don't
factual.
think. Yeah, you're not entitled to your own opinion.
Yeah, no,
on this one.
it's okay.
You're a horrible person.
Yeah.
No, it's alright. I'll take your opinion.
Yeah. Ryan's consensus. There are a few reasons to see The Purge. There are a few reasons to see The Purge. Yeah, I like the concept enough to be like, you know what, you might as well go check it out because who knows, it might be what you're expecting.
Jerry's consensus. Yeah, I think there are some reasons to see The Purge. There are some reasons to see The Purge. Yeah, the concept is cool. The cast is really good, I thought. And there's some There's some tense moments and some action in there, so it's worth checking out.
Thomas's consensus. There's a couple reasons to see The Purge. There's a couple reasons to see The Purge. If I could describe this movie in one word, I think it'd be meh.
Alright guys, thanks for checking out our show. Why don't you go ahead, scroll to that comment box below and tell us, what would you do on The Purge? Anything is allowed. Anything. But don't say some things.
Don't ever trust an internet comment board. I mean, I love people who watch our show, but don't ever trust an internet comment board to tell you what they would do if there were no rules. Because your eyes will melt out of your face.
I'm pretty sure most internet comment boards are already, what would I do if there's no rules?
The Purge exists.
Yeah.
It's on the
it's just an it's the internet message board. If you want to check out more episodes of Reason to See, click this link right here.
And why don't you go ahead, click this link so you can follow us on Facebook, or click this link a little lower to follow me, Ryan Wright, on Twitter.
And if you want to get updated every time a new review or a video is out, subscribe.
Click on Thomas, who is pointing at his crotch right now.
You want to scroll down a little bit,
Yeah.
and that's where you want to click.
Yeah.
Alright.
Click that dick, man.
It's a pretty big link, alright? So.
This is good though because it's proving that we're equal opportunity with every one of our guests. It's like it's either click boobs or click a dick.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, I got some pretty big tits too, so you guys
Can
click
you
there.
do like the Arnold like?
I'd rather not because
I would rather you did.
Well, I mean, if you're forcing me to do it,
I am for.
I don't know. Can you guys?
Oh!
Is that?
Yeah, no.
Taking you guys off?
Oh yeah, I'm purging right now.